We're recording. I gotta keep it quiet because today we're gonna be revealing some psychological secrets that are pretty damn powerful. So, alright, I'm just being dramatic, but today we're gonna be talking about some pretty awesome psychological triggers. Now, I'm gonna be explaining these triggers and how you can use them in the context of e-commerce because that's what my channel is mainly about. But I will say that these things can be used in your day-to-day life to get what you want and almost to control people. So in the e-commerce world, a lot of people focus all of their efforts into finding products and, you know, the latest Facebook ad strategy and stuff like that. But one of the things that most people neglect, especially beginners, are some of these psychological triggers that will make your store a lot more effective from a marketing standpoint, which will make you more sales. And if you're making more sales, you're making more money. And if you're making more money, everybody's happy. So this is definitely gonna give you a secret edge over your competitors. So let's just hop right into it. And if you do learn something from this video, make sure that you give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So the first psychological trigger that I'm going to talk about here is actually one that you may think is obvious, but you'd be surprised at how easy it is to neglect this and how many people actually don't do this, which is visualization, and specifically using pictures to make your customers visualize themselves with your product. Now, this is 100% the easiest way to increase conversions. In fact, Amazon has done studies on this, and they've said themselves that one of the biggest contributing factors to an increase in conversion rate on Amazon listings is the type of pictures that they're using. So basically, at this point, if you're using white stock images on your product pictures only, you are 100% killing your conversion rate, and you're really not maximizing the amount of sales that you could be making. The best type of pictures that you actually should be using are pictures of your product in use. Now, here's the thing. People are naturally drawn to faces, and this is why ads with faces on them work so well. And this is the main reason why you click on certain YouTube videos as well. For example, if you see a face in the thumbnail, it's much more likely to draw you in than if you just see a random image. Now, what I'm about to say is not factual at all, but honestly, I think one of the main reasons why cosmetic stores work so well and like health and beauty stuff is because most of the ads that people run for those stores are primarily with people's faces on them. And like I just said, this helps people visualize the product, and humans are drawn to human faces. So this gives these ads a higher click-through rate, therefore they're driving more traffic to their store, and ideally they'd be using amazing imagery on their product pages with people using the product, which would increase their conversion rate, increasing their sales. Now, you might be thinking, well, where am I gonna get these pictures, especially if you're just running a dropshipping business, right? Now, luckily, one of the things you can do if you are dropshipping is actually ask your supplier, whether it be AliExpress, a sourcing agent, or maybe even an Alibaba supplier, you can ask them for images of your product being used. Now, if this doesn't work and they don't have anything, one of the best things you can do is actually go on Fiverr and find people that you think fit the demographic of your product and send them your product either directly from your supplier on AliExpress, or you could try to find your product maybe on Amazon and have them use that as a product demo. This is something I personally do. We've actually worked with tons of Fiverr people to get content, and it's honestly one of the most cost-effective ways to get content for your products. And like I said, this is the biggest psychological trigger that's gonna increase your conversions. So it's definitely something that you should be prioritizing. Another thing that you can do to get content is actually send products for free to influencers. So this actually works similar to the Fiverr gigs. Now, it is a little bit more of a pain in the ass because you actually have to, you know, work with influencers, which if you have any experience with it, you know that it can be kind of annoying. Now, the next psychological trigger is called the Reciprocity Norm. Now, this one is very powerful, and it's powerful beyond e-commerce. This is actually something that like pickup artists always talk about. Not that I know anything about that, but I know a lot of people say that, you know, for example, if you're a guy trying to pick up a girl or vice versa, if you give somebody something for free, they're likely to feel obligated to give something back. Now, this reciprocity norm basically states that when you give somebody something, they're very likely to want to give something back to you. So in context with e-commerce, if you give someone something for free, for example, they are more likely to buy the product that they came to your store for. Now, of course, the most obvious thing to use in this context would be to give someone a free product when they buy something else, like a buy one, get one free. But this is actually not the only way that you can use the reciprocity norm. You can do something as simple as offer bulk pricing on your product page and give people a discount the more products that they buy. Most people are not going to expect this, so when they see that, automatically assume that you're giving them something for free in exchange exchange for them buying more of whatever product that they're thinking of buying. Therefore, they're going to be more likely to actually buy that product, and even better, they're more likely to buy more of that product because of this free discount that you offer them. Now, this of course works extremely well with personalized emails. For our store, we use Klaviyo, and we give people discounts basically for everything. In our abandoned cart sequence, when people sign up to our newsletter, and even to customers that have already purchased something in order to try to get them back to purchase something again. Now, as far as on your store, I think one of the best apps to do this is called Discounted Upsells, and the reason why is because it actually works better as a reciprocity norm than just having like a bulk pricing table on your product page. What it does is once somebody actually adds something to their cart, it gives you a little pop-up saying, would you like to add another one of these products for an extra 50% off or something like that? Like you could say bonus discount, get 50% off by adding one more. And customers are definitely not expecting this, so they may feel obligated to actually buy that product from you. Now, the next psychological trigger is actually envy. So of course, envy plays a huge role in our lives, and this is what actually drives people to, get a bigger house or a bigger car. It's really not that they truly want that, it's that they see their other people. For example, let's say my neighbor gets a better car, I'm gonna feel a little bit envious and want to get a better car, and this cycle goes on and on and on. But this actually applies to e-commerce as well, and it's one of the reasons why it's so important to actually have positive customer reviews on your product page. So the most obvious reason why to include reviews on your product page is because of social proof, right? But it actually goes way beyond that. When people are browsing your product page and they see other people enjoying that product and getting, a lot of benefit from it, they're gonna feel envious and wanna buy from you right then and there so that they can also enjoy the benefits of your product. Now, the best app to do this is called Looks Reviews. I've used this app on my store for so long, and the reason why I love it so much is because it actually automatically asks your customers to submit reviews in exchange for a discount or a gift card. And it's so powerful because it basically automates the process of you going out there and seeking reviews from your customers. It actually incentivizes your existing customers to give you reviews in exchange for something, and the discount that they provide actually more often than not ends up resulting in that customer buying from you again, especially if they're gonna leave a nice review. It's because they're satisfied with the product. So this not only increases your conversions, but actually increases your customer return rate as well, which is a win-win for everybody. Now, I do have in the description a 30-day free trial for Looks that you can add on your store. This is the only way to get Looks free for 30 days. Otherwise, they only offer a 14-day free trial, so I highly recommend that if you do wanna use this app, that you use it through the link I have in the description. Now, another way in which you can use this psychological trigger is actually when it comes to retargeting ads. So one of the most effective ways to retarget customers that may have not bought is by showing them user-generated content, ideally content that your customers sent in of your product being used. Content that looks like a review of your product or like an unboxing, for example, works extremely well. And it actually doesn't just work well for retargeting, it can work really well for your normal cold traffic ads, but it does work best when it comes to retargeting because sometimes a customer, all they really need is that extra little push, and when they may see another customer really happy with the product in ad form, they're now validated and envious, and they may feel like they need to go buy it now. Now, the next psychological trick you can use to get your customers to convert is actually triggering emotions from your customer. Now, while it may be really obvious, it's actually easier said than done. This is something that you're actually gonna have to practice at and put in a lot of work on because it requires skills in copywriting. But one of the easiest ways to trigger emotions from your customer is to ask them questions, like ask them about pain points and position your product as the solution to those problems, right? Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to this, and this actually might help you to also find potential products to sell, is that pain is more motivating than pleasure. And this is why in one of my recent videos, I showed a store called Little Style Shop, and one of their biggest products right now is actually some foot bunion like cast or something like that, which is a pretty weird product and honestly kind of gross, but it solves a big pain point. And this is also why cosmetic stores are so profitable, right? Because it makes people more confident in themselves, which relieves short-term pain and for short-term pleasure, which is the money that they're, giving you, basically. This is actually one of the biggest reasons why people procrastinate, including me and you. It's because pain is more motivating than pleasure. So of course, you don't want to do whatever it is that you have to do because it's painful, it's annoying, it's not fun. So you delay it until the last minute. So if you can actually conquer this fear, you're actually going to get a lot more stuff done. So just make sure that you remember that procrastination it's kind of a psychological trick that your brain is playing on you. So don't play yourself and don't procrastinate. Don't fall victim to this psychological trigger. You should only use this to try to get customers on your store, not to procrastinate. Now, another way to trigger emotion on your product pages is by actually using the visualization trigger and using images on your store of the product being used or people being really happy with the product, like people smiling and stuff like that. That will definitely work extremely well. Now, the last psychological trigger I want to talk about is actually called price anchoring. Now, if you don't know what price anchoring is, it's basically offering multiple tiers of prices. Now, this works really well, for example, in the fashion niche because you can offer different sizes and actually price sizes differently. Now, it's best to offer more than one option, but not too many options either, because if you actually offer too many options of your product, people are going to be way too overwhelmed and have way too much fear of missing out that they're not going to be able to actually commit to a decision. So I think a perfect amount of choice to give your customer is 3 different choices, ideally ranging from least expensive to most expensive. And what happens most often with this is that people will go with the middle option. So ideally, that's the option that you can make the most profit on because that's the one that people are gonna go for the most. Now, this is another reason why bulk pricing actually works so well, because with bulk pricing, you're using price anchoring, but you're also using the reciprocity norm by giving your customer a free discount just for buying more products. One way that you can kind of use price anchoring differently is with phrasing. So phrasing, for example, your price as a low price or like just $20. Phrasing like that actually makes your customer feel like they're getting an extra good deal and it's gonna be the reason why they buy from you as opposed to the competition. Now, of course, you shouldn't be competing on price, but this definitely, once your customer is on your store, using these sort of phrases are definitely gonna help them commit to actually making the purchase. And this can also be used in real life. If you're trying to get somebody to do a favor for you, just say, I just need a little bit of help.
It has not been easy for me. And my father gave me a small loan of $1 million. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million. I came into...
But phrasing is definitely extremely powerful and will definitely help you increase conversions. Now, guys, my voice is starting to get strained. This got a little bit too long, but I know that if you watch this whole thing and you apply some of these tips and some of these psychological triggers, your conversion rate is 100% guaranteed to go up. And this actually may help you not only sell more products, but even find products, because once you know how people's brains operate when it comes to buying decisions, it can also help you make decisions on what product to showcase to them to make them make that decision. Now I'm starting to confuse myself, so I'm gonna wrap this up, but if you learned something, make sure that you drop a like on this video and of course subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in my next one. Peace out.
It has not been easy for me. And, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.